Imagine this for a moment. Right now, at this very second, there is a man thinking intensely about you. No matter what he tries to focus on, your face keeps appearing in his mind. Your name quietly returns to his thoughts again and again throughout the day. Even when he attempts to push it away, or when he cannot fully admit it to himself, his body already reveals what his mind is hiding. His posture, his small movements, the way his energy subtly changes all point to one truth. He is deeply in love with you, even though you may not fully see it yet. And the reason you do not see it is not because you are unaware or foolish. It is because from a very young age, you were taught to listen for words, promises, and clear emotional statements. You were taught that love must be spoken directly, but real masculine desire often lives somewhere much quieter. It exists inside a hidden code, a silent language so subtle that nearly 97% of women never learn how to recognize it. What I am about to share can completely change how you understand relationships and how you see the male mind, especially the gap between what men say and what they unconsciously express. Carl Jung, one of the most influential psychologists in history, uncovered something remarkable about the male psyche that most women are never told. He discovered that when a man truly loves a woman, his unconscious mind shifts into a state he cannot fully manage or control. In this state, his behavior and body begin to reveal signals that are automatic and almost impossible to fake. The real tragedy is that many women misunderstand these signals or overlook them entirely. They often confuse true emotional depth with temporary games. Or even worse, they dismiss men who are deeply in love simply because those men do not express it in obvious or dramatic ways. Have you ever experienced that quiet inner feeling, that sense that something does not fully match up? A man may say he is interested, yet his actions seem unclear or inconsistent. Or perhaps he never openly talks about emotions, but something inside you feels a strong emotional connection. That feeling is not accidental. It is not you imagining things. It is your unconscious mind picking up on signals your conscious mind has never been taught to interpret. This has nothing to do with manipulation or shallow attraction tactics. It goes far beyond that. What I am sharing is not a trick. It is the reality of what happens inside a man when he meets a woman who awakens more than physical desire, a woman who touches something emotional and deep within him. There is a clear pattern, a silent form of communication that shows up through a man's gestures, his eye contact, the pauses he makes, the way he shows up, and how his behavior changes when he is emotionally invested. Once you learn to notice these signs, confusion slowly disappears. You stop questioning your worth. You stop wondering where you stand. You stop guessing his intentions. The problem is that most women look in the wrong direction. They wait for dramatic confessions or clear statements when the real truth is revealed in the smallest details. Jung spoke about the lover archetype, a powerful inner force that exists inside every man. When this force is activated, it transforms his behavior in ways he may not even understand himself. This is not something he can act out or consciously create. It is an instinctive reaction rooted in the deepest layers of his unconscious mind. What you are about to understand may completely shift how you see the men around you. It may explain emotions you have sensed before, but could never clearly describe. These signs are subtle, but they are undeniable. A man may try to deny them, hide them, or explain them away, but his actions will always reveal the truth. There is a major difference between simple physical attraction and real emotional investment. A man driven only by desire tends to pull away when things become challenging. A man who is emotionally involved becomes more present when difficulty appears. One creates uncertainty and emotional tension. The other builds stability, safety, and consistency. One exists only in the moment. The other quietly imagines you as part of his future, even if he has never said it out loud. Before going deeper into this understanding that can permanently change how you view men and relationships, pause for a second. I want you to do something very simple. Comment the word perception below. This is not just engagement. When you write this word, your mind begins to open itself to what comes next. It works like a mental doorway, preparing you to receive these ideas at a deeper level. Have you ever noticed how some women seem to attract commitment with ease, while others stay trapped in cycles of surface-level connections? This has very little to do with beauty, charm, or memorized phrases. It has everything to do with their ability to notice and respond to the unconscious signals a man gives when he is emotionally connected. Jung spent many years studying the human psyche and found that much of male behavior is guided by forces far beyond conscious decision-making. He called these forces archetypes, inherited patterns that influence how we think, feel, and act. One of the strongest of these patterns is the lover archetype. When it awakens inside a man, something powerful happens. He moves beyond casual interest. He becomes emotionally attached in a way that logic alone cannot explain. Something ancient stirs inside him, quietly shaping his actions without him fully realizing it. Modern culture teaches men from an early age to hide their emotions. They are told to be strong, to avoid tears, and to never appear vulnerable. Over time, this creates a deep gap between what a man feels and what he can express through words. This is why many men struggle to verbalize love, even when they feel it deeply. But the body does not follow these rules. The body always tells the truth. Jung observed that while words can be edited, filtered, or withheld, unconscious behavior cannot. The unconscious reveals itself through attention, posture, reliability, and presence. These signals form a quiet language that very few women are taught to understand. Think about a man who gives mixed signals. He may say he cares yet disappear for days, or he may rarely speak about emotions but consistently shows up when you need him most. Which one is truly emotionally invested? Words can confuse, but behavior does not lie. Later, neuroscience confirmed what Jung intuitively understood. When a man is genuinely in love, his brain releases certain chemicals that strongly influence his actions. Dopamine creates a sense of reward, making your presence feel meaningful and pleasurable. His mind begins to associate you with comfort and emotional fulfillment. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, is released through closeness and intimacy. It creates a deep biological attachment and a natural desire to protect, care for, and stay connected. This is why a man who is emotionally involved often becomes protective without being asked. It is not a strategy or a plan. It is biology responding to emotional connection. When women try to understand a man's feelings, they usually focus on what he says. But Jung taught that words reveal very little. The depth of a man's love lies beneath the surface, expressed through consistency, presence, and unconscious actions. Because men are conditioned to hide vulnerability, this silent language becomes even more important. The lover archetype is not about desire alone. It is about emotional closeness, devotion, and connection that reaches something ancient within the male psyche. When this archetype is activated, a man does not only want physical closeness. He wants to be near her emotionally. He wants to include her in his life, protect her peace, and feel connected on a deeper level. Even if he never says it clearly, his life begins to reorganize around her presence. His time, his attention, and his energy naturally start to shift. When this inner force is fully awakened, he does not just want her body. He wants her presence, her safety, her emotional world, and her place beside him. He wants to stay close, understand her deeply, and slowly make her a meaningful part of his life. Yet modern life makes this process more complicated than it needs to be. Many men feel fear around openly expressing these emotions. A man can be deeply in love and still struggle to find the right words. Instead of speaking, his feelings show up through unconscious signs. The way he looks at her when he thinks no one is watching, how he adjusts his schedule, how he creates space for her without being asked. These small, almost invisible gestures speak louder than words. Learning to understand this quiet language can change everything for a woman. It allows her to see beyond surface attention and recognize true emotional investment. It prevents confusing shallow interest with genuine connection. Science strongly supports Jung's insights. When a man is in love, his brain chemistry shifts in noticeable ways. Dopamine heightens pleasure and motivation, linking her presence with happiness. Oxytocin strengthens bonding and trust. Serotonin helps create emotional balance, calm, and a sense of safety. Because these processes happen below awareness, a man's behavior changes naturally. His eyes linger longer, his tone softens, his posture opens. Even when his words are limited, his actions reveal commitment. It is important to clearly separate physical attraction from emotional involvement. Physical attraction can be intense and exciting, but it is often temporary. It is driven by appearance and chemistry, and it can exist toward many people at the same time. Emotional involvement is different. It grows slowly. It deepens with consistency, care, and presence. And when it is real, it quietly shows itself, even when no words are spoken. This kind of interest exists mostly on the surface and does not carry strong stability. Emotional involvement, however, grows slowly over time. It unfolds as a man gradually allows a woman into his inner emotional space. When the lover archetype becomes active, his attention naturally narrows. She turns into a source of comfort, purpose, and a vision of the future. Confusion often happens because some men speak words that sound interested, yet their behavior remains inconsistent. Others may say very little about their emotions, but their actions quietly reveal deep care and attachment. Learning to recognize the signs of true emotional involvement instead of shallow attraction can save a woman from confusion, emotional pain, and wasted time. Carl Jung also spoke about the idea of synchronicity, which refers to meaningful coincidences that have no obvious cause but feel deeply personal and significant. When a man is genuinely emotionally connected to a woman, these synchronicities often begin to appear naturally. He may think of her moments before she contacts him. They may uncover surprising similarities, shared memories, or parallel life experiences that feel too aligned to be accidental. At times, dreams, thoughts, or timing itself seems to move in harmony. These moments are not random. They are expressions of an unconscious connection between their inner worlds. Many women dismiss these signs and instead focus only on spoken words or dramatic actions. Yet synchronicity is one of the clearest signals that a man's unconscious mind has been activated by real emotional connection. The true danger lies in misunderstanding these signals. Many women confuse charm, attention, or short bursts of excitement with deep love. Others fail to notice the quiet consistency, the body language, and the steady presence that reveal real emotional depth. This misunderstanding leads to disappointment, confusion, and relationships that drain energy instead of nourishing it. Women are often taught to listen closely to words, while the truth frequently lives in silence, in the eyes, and in the way a man shows up repeatedly without needing explanations. By learning this silent language of male desire, women gain clarity. They begin to recognize genuine feelings and make choices that protect their emotional well-being. Understanding this hidden language requires awareness and intuition. It means noticing how a man looks at you, especially when he believes you are not watching. It involves observing how he organizes his time and personal space around you. It means seeing whether he remembers small details about you that others usually forget. It includes paying attention to how and when he shares his fears, insecurities, or emotional vulnerabilities. It means noticing whether he naturally introduces you into his social circle and everyday routines. It involves listening to how he speaks about the future and whether you appear in it without prompting. Most importantly, it means watching the consistency of his care over time. Each of these signs forms part of a larger picture that reveals whether his emotional involvement is real or only temporary. If understanding the lover archetype and the silent language of male desire is important, the next question becomes how a woman can gently invite this deeper emotional bond. The answer lies in embracing feminine energy not as a stereotype, but as a powerful and authentic force. When a woman aligns with her true feminine nature, she naturally activates unconscious processes in a man that awaken his lover archetype and encourage emotional closeness. Feminine energy is often misunderstood. It is not weakness, submission, or silence. It is an energy defined by receptivity, emotional depth, presence, intuition, and creative flow. It balances masculine energy, which often focuses on action, direction, and logic. In relationships, feminine energy invites a man to soften, lower his emotional defenses, and connect on a deeper level. It creates a space where vulnerability feels safe, allowing the lover archetype to grow naturally. Presence matters far more than pursuit. Feminine energy does not chase a man or pressure him into feeling something before he is ready. Instead, it focuses on being emotionally grounded and fully present. This presence creates natural magnetism. When a woman is emotionally present, she radiates confidence without force and softness without weakness. This balance speaks directly to a man's unconscious mind, signaling safety and openness. Authentic vulnerability plays a vital role as well. When a woman allows herself to be real by sharing her fears, hopes, and imperfections, she gives the man silent permission to do the same. This shared openness builds trust and emotional intimacy. A man's lover archetype awakens when he feels he can be honest without fear of judgment or rejection. Emotional attunement deepens this bond even further. Feminine energy listens, feels, and responds with empathy. A woman who is connected to her own emotions and attentive to his creates a powerful emotional exchange. Feeling emotionally seen and understood strengthens a man's attachment. Allowing space is just as important. Giving a man room to be himself without pressure allows his feelings to rise naturally. Space removes resistance and allows emotional depth to develop at its own pace. Feminine energy can be cultivated through simple practices. Mindfulness increases presence. Creative expression supports emotional flow. Honoring and expressing feelings builds authenticity. Open body language invites connection. Trusting intuition strengthens inner guidance. Patience allows relationships to grow organically rather than forcefully. Jung also spoke about the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves that we deny or suppress. Men often suppress their emotional and sensitive side. Women sometimes suppress their strength or independence. When feminine and masculine energies are balanced and integrated, both partners grow. Encouraging the lover archetype supports this integration and leads to a healthier and more complete connection. This understanding changes the way dating and relationships are approached. Instead of relying on tactics, appearances, or carefully chosen words, the focus shifts toward authenticity and emotional truth. It moves away from chasing and toward inviting. It moves from strategy to presence, and from words to genuine emotional connection. When a woman learns to read the quiet and hidden language of male desire and aligns with her authentic feminine energy, she transforms not only her relationships but her entire experience of love. Love shifts from fantasy into lived reality. Instead of chasing idealized romantic images, love becomes grounded, deep, mutual, and real. A man's lover archetype, combined with a woman's authentic feminine energy, creates a powerful chemistry that brings two inner worlds into harmony. It may not always be effortless or perfect, but it is honest and enduring. Understanding these emotional dynamics, how masculine and feminine energies interact, and how the lover archetype functions, opens the door to seeing clearly when a man is truly emotionally invested. There are clear signs that reveal genuine emotional involvement, signs that are nearly impossible to fake, because they arise from the unconscious mind. Recognizing these signs can save years of confusion, heartbreak, and misinterpretation. They allow a woman to see beyond words and surface promises into the true depth of a man's feelings. One of the strongest signs appears through the eyes, often described as the window to the soul. Jung emphasized the power of the gaze, and modern science confirms that the eyes often reveal what the conscious mind tries to hide. When a man is deeply emotionally connected, his eyes do more than glance. They linger with quiet fascination, as if trying to absorb every detail. Pupil dilation happens without control, revealing the truth of his feelings. When you catch him watching you without realizing it, this is not simple desire but silent reverence. His gaze reflects emotional recognition, fascination, and a bond that goes beyond surface attraction. Another strong sign appears in how he manages his time and physical space around you. An emotionally involved man unconsciously adjusts his priorities to include you. He does not disappear without reason or treat your presence casually. Instead, he makes room for you, changes his schedule, and physically orients himself toward you. In social situations, subtle signals like his body facing you, his feet pointing toward you, or gentle touches reveal where his emotional attention rests. These behaviors reflect genuine attachment and emotional investment. Another sign is selective memory. A man who is emotionally invested remembers small details that others overlook. His unconscious mind filters what matters most, and you naturally remain at the center of that focus. He remembers your words, your habits, your preferences, and moments that seemed insignificant to others. Over time, his actions remain consistent rather than dramatic and short-lived. Emotional involvement reveals itself through reliability, presence, and care that does not fade quickly. He shows concern during difficult moments, not just during happy ones. He listens without rushing to fix. He stays emotionally available even when things feel uncomfortable. These are signs that cannot be forced or maintained through acting. They emerge naturally when a man's heart is truly involved. He remembers small preferences, brief conversations, and personal stories that you may have shared only once in passing. These details settle quietly but firmly in his mind, showing the importance of the place you hold in his inner emotional world. When he brings up something you never expected him to recall, it is a strong sign that you matter to him far beyond surface-level attraction. It shows attention, presence, and emotional focus that cannot be forced. The fourth sign is emotional vulnerability. When a man opens up about his fears, insecurities, or private dreams, he is slowly lowering his emotional guard. Society often teaches men to hide vulnerability and avoid emotional exposure. Because of this, when it happens, it is rare and deeply meaningful. It reveals parts of himself that he usually keeps protected and unseen, and it signals trust, emotional safety, and genuine openness. Jung described this as the exposure of the shadow, the unveiling of aspects of the self that are normally hidden from the world. This level of openness is a clear indicator of deep emotional connection and inner attachment. The fifth sign is social integration. A man who is emotionally invested naturally brings you into all areas of his life. He introduces you to friends and family, invites you to social gatherings and celebrations, and speaks about you with pride rather than secrecy. He does not hide you, minimize you, or keep you separate from his world. Social integration shows that you are valued and seen as part of his identity. It is an unconscious signal of real attachment and emotional commitment. The sixth sign is future projection. One of the clearest signs of emotional investment is how he talks about the future. When a man imagines a life that naturally includes you, it reflects genuine emotional commitment. He may talk about future plans, shared trips, personal goals, or even the idea of building a life together. This is not manipulation or pressure. It is an unconscious expression of emotional attachment and long-term thinking rooted in genuine feeling. The seventh sign is protection and care. True protection is often misunderstood as control or possessiveness, but it is very different. An emotionally involved man shows concern for your well-being, notices subtle changes in your mood, anticipates your needs, and offers support without expecting anything in return. This protective instinct comes from the unconscious guardian response, a natural and biological reaction that signals the depth of his attachment on a deeper level. The eighth and final sign is consistency over time. Real emotional investment cannot be faked for long. While attention or affection can be imitated for a short period, genuine feelings reveal themselves through steady and reliable behavior over time. He does not disappear without explanation or create confusion with hot and cold behavior. His presence, energy, and care remain consistent, quietly confirming the truth of his emotions. Understanding these 8 signs gives you the power to see beyond surface words and temporary actions. You gain clarity to recognize whether a man is truly emotionally invested or simply offering brief interest. This awareness releases you from constant doubt and uncertainty. You no longer need dramatic declarations or constant reassurance to trust his feelings. The unconscious signals speak louder than words. When a man consistently shows these behaviors, you are witnessing a rare and meaningful connection, one that goes beyond physical attraction and reaches into deep emotional resonance. This understanding allows you to reflect on your relationships from a new perspective. You can recognize emotional patterns, avoid confusion, and better understand the depth of the bonds you form. Emotional involvement is not always loud or dramatic. Often it is quiet, steady, and deeply meaningful. When you learn to recognize these signs, you begin to see a man's true intentions, his unconscious commitment, and the real depth of his love. This clarity shifts your experience of relationships from uncertainty to confidence, guiding you toward connections that are honest, nurturing, and lasting. Are you noticing these signs in the men around you, or have you experienced the frustration of mixed signals that leave you unsure of his intentions? Reflect on your past and present relationships with this deeper understanding in mind. Now that you understand the psychology behind male emotional involvement and the clear indicators of genuine love, Another important question arises. How do you inspire a man to reach this level of emotional depth and stay there? The answer lies in creating an emotional environment where his unconscious feels safe, respected, and naturally drawn to your presence without manipulation, pressure, or games. Begin by embracing your feminine energy while staying true to yourself. Men are naturally drawn to emotional polarity. When you fully express your authentic feminine essence, not as a performance but as a natural state, you activate his lover archetype. This does not mean submission or weakness. Feminine energy is about emotional openness, intuition, creativity, warmth, and the ability to create connection. When you radiate confidence, emotional intelligence, and calm presence, you naturally awaken his instinct to protect, cherish, and commit. Next, practice receptivity instead of constant pursuit. Chasing or over-pursuing can create resistance because it triggers a man's instinct to protect his freedom. Instead, remain open, engaged, and responsive without overextending yourself. When a man feels availability without desperation, he is naturally inspired to invest more emotionally. Psychology shows that the lover archetype thrives when freedom is balanced with intimacy. Too much control weakens desire, while too much distance creates insecurity. Balance is essential. Another important element is emotional pacing. Mirror his level of openness without oversharing too early. Sharing too much too soon can overwhelm his emotional defenses if he is not fully engaged yet. Matching his pace and gradually deepening emotional intimacy as trust grows feels natural, safe, and exciting rather than rushed or forced. Respecting emotional timing strengthens connection rather than weakening it. Respecting his autonomy while inviting closeness is also vital. A man's sense of masculinity is closely connected to freedom and purpose. When he feels restricted, his unconscious reacts with resistance. Interestingly, the more you honor his independence, the more he chooses to stay emotionally close. Become someone he wants to be near willingly, where your presence feels supportive and expansive instead of limiting. Cultivating mystery without creating confusion is another key factor. Mystery is not manipulation or playing hard to get. It is having your own interests, goals, passions, and inner world outside the relationship. Depth and individuality naturally keep attraction alive. Familiarity brings comfort, but curiosity sustains desire over time. Communication also matters deeply. Express your needs with softness and clarity instead of pressure or ultimatums. Men often pull away when faced with criticism or emotional force. Use language that invites closeness rather than creating defense. Small shifts in wording can turn conflict into deeper connection and understanding. Investing in your self-worth and emotional independence is one of the most powerful ways to inspire lasting love. When you are grounded, confident, and emotionally balanced, you naturally attract commitment. A man feels safe investing in you because he senses that you are whole on your own, not seeking validation or completion from him. Finally, recognize when it is time to walk away. Not every man is ready for emotional depth, and that does not reflect your worth. Your role is to invite connection, not force transformation. If he repeatedly shows avoidance, emotional distance, or disrespect despite your efforts, choosing to step away is an act of self-respect. Walking away is not weakness, it is clarity and strength. Often, this firm boundary awakens awareness because it demonstrates self-value, authenticity, and inner power. If this understanding shifted your perspective, imagine the growth that comes with taking the next step. Do not leave your relationships to chance. Choose awareness, growth, and emotional clarity. Your ideal relationship begins with the choices you make now, and the power to step fully into it has always been yours.